A few weeks ago, I put out this video. In April of 2023, I was the first person to launch a productized operations service. It added the most money that I've ever seen in one quarter to my bank account. It also gave me the two worst clients in the history of my business. And most importantly, it was a masterclass in what I wanted to offer versus what I thought I did. It had a way better reaction than I thought it was going to. People were really genuinely on my side, and many of you wanted to know more about the brighter side of productized services, where no one is blocked on Twitter and we're all making a solid income without losing our minds on custom proposals or sales calls. What's up, you beautiful mother? And hi, hello to our new friends who have recently subscribed. There's a lot of you. My name is Sara. I am a SaaS expert and I own the operations agency Systems, where I help brands like yours untangle complexities and remove bottlenecks from all of your workflows. Before we dive into the benefits of having a truly productized offer, I first just want to talk about money. I want to talk about numbers and how to come up with your pricing. And I know that I'm pulling the cart in front of the horse, so to speak, but I know that's why you're here. You want the real tea. So if you've listened to me talk about pricing at all in the past 6 years, then you know that I've always based my pricing on my bills. Yes, you heard that correctly. My rent, my car payment, my insurance, my groceries, letting my dogs live a really good life. This is how I strategize my pricing. I use them as for anchors, so to speak, and then I add $1,000 for every year of experience onto the price. And I don't know, some people have told me that that sounds ridiculous, but to be totally honest, when I first quit my job and went freelance full time, my bills didn't stop and neither do yours. And so if I had a client sign on, it was like, cool, my car payment's paid, or, oh, thank God I don't have to worry about groceries or whatever. And I've kept that simple mindset ever since. So swinging back to having a productized service, that's how I created my rates. I charge $5K for a general Notion build because my rent split between Jesse and I is $1K a month. And I've been building Notion for 4 years, hence the $5K. Like there's really no secret or method to the madness. Like it really is that simple. And of course, like I have absolutely charged 10 times that amount. I've written an invoice for $50K, but I've also charged less than that, which is why I consider it an anchor, because I'm able to swing forward or swing back, really depending on the client and the exact deliverables, right? Because you want to take into account what you're actually doing. And if someone just needs like one database bill, I'm not going to be like $5K, that doesn't make any sense. But the next piece of this is what's nice about being productized, I guess, is that on top of that, I don't really do proposals anymore. I also have full authority to choose if I'm going to share my rates publicly or not. And so in any sales call, I keep my anchor price in my mind. I listen really intently for what the client is asking for, and I decide if my set rate is good enough or if it needs a swing. And if it doesn't, I have a saved Gmail template with my onboarding ready to go that I literally ship on the dot 1 hour following the call. Now, I have and pretty much have always shared my rates on my website. I've gone through small periods where, every now and again, I'll like take them down and see if that impacts my leads or not. And to be totally honest, it really doesn't. I feel like when your rates aren't on your site, you get more sales calls of people who are unsure because they have no idea what you charge. But then on the other side, having rates on my site, I don't get as many leads, but I do close 98% of them. So I guess you have to pick your battle. And so to make things easier, in my opinion, for people out of budget that don't book a call that they can't afford, we talked about in the dark side video, I no longer allow people to book a project without meeting with me first. So all that to say, it makes things a lot easier, in my opinion, for people who out of budget don't book a call that they can't afford. But like we talked about in the dark side video, I also no longer allow people to book a project without meeting me first. So even if they're unsure if like that's hard pricing or, where their project fits into my rates, they can book a call all they want, but they can't pay me without talking to me first. Another bright side to being productized is not having to do hard math. Okay, this is one thing that I will gladly admit that I failed. I suck at algebra. I failed math twice, once in high school, once in college. That's why I have a liberal arts degree. And I now don't have time to calculate how many projects will take for me to cruise every month. Instead, I can easily look at that anchor versus the leads and know, okay, I only need one project this month. Or like June, for instance, I didn't really want to do a big project. And so I fully leaned into hourly consulting, and it was a great month. And to be totally honest, like I'm thinking about just doing hourly consulting like 1 month every quarter because man, that was the dream. Okay. So specifically, let's talk deliverables next. So I can do the majority of our projects that are hands-on literally in my sleep because 95% of the time they are the exact same. It's just a different client. And usually the strategy sessions have different language. But at the end of the day, like the actual hands-on work is so simple. So a great example of that, I recently worked with this incredible wedding photographer out of Detroit. We took them off of HoneyBook because every photographer is on HoneyBook, and we built a new digital hub using Notion, Tally Forms, and Wave accounting. Oh, and also Cal.com. So similarly, I worked with another solopreneur who we did the exact same thing for, except they wanted to stay on QuickBooks. And so most of the focus was cleaning and zhuzhing while also connecting QuickBooks and the other tools using Zapier. And that's why product offers are really great because when you get that unicorn project, not only do you have the mental bandwidth, but also you're creating this creative space and time to experiment, explore, and really frankly do badass work because the no-brainer projects do not eat up a lot of your time. And to that point, because a productized offer is more or less universal, I'm also able to nail down timeframes. And 90% of our projects now take 3 weeks or less because we can go in and immediately knock it out, no questions asked. But the key here is that using productized offers is to be as efficient as possible. So you can spend time doing other things like starting a newsletter or gardening or whatever makes your little heart happy.
Do more of what makes you happy. Unless it's prostitution or heroin, do more of what makes you happy.
And the last thing that I'll add about the bright side of productized offers is that you can really begin to own and hone in on your craft. Looking back over the last 5.5, 6 years, 1,000% remember times where I didn't feel in control of a project or that I wasn't showing up my best because there were too many cooks in the kitchen. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. Having a productized service removes all of that. It really allows you to take control and show up exactly how you intend to without the fear of creep. And to that point, and circling back to the anchored pricing, adding on the $1,000 per experience year really gives me a buffer should something else come up. I don't nitpick invoices. I don't chase invoices. So that pricing really gives me the ability to kind of like add on a deliverable with no questions asked, right? If we in a strategy call are sitting here and saying, oh, we need a form for X, I'm not going to be like, oh, that's another $250. Like it takes 5 minutes, you know? And that's why I'm really confident in the pricing that I've created. And so to make a very long-winded argument short, when you remove the crazy hourly calculations and have the confidence in the primary work that you do, you really allow yourself to focus more on the project, not how you got it. And a whole world opens up. Promise.
Ew.
Oh, hey, did you know that it costs $0 to create efficiency in your business? Go to the description down below and download my free workbook to see how you can start working better.